G'day, Nigel McGill here. You know, breathing is such an important part of playing saxophone, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with, so I thought I'd quickly have a chat with you about breathing in this lesson and see if I can give you some top tips to help you make it a bit easier. Okay, so breathing, there's a couple of different things to think about. First of all, there's the actual physical part of doing the breathing, and the second thing is where to actually breathe when you're playing. So let's look at the first part, so breathing itself. Now, we all know how to breathe, obviously. We've been breathing our whole lives, if you're lucky. But when we're playing an instrument, particularly an instrument like a saxophone, where we use quite a lot of air, it's important to breathe really efficiently. And that's something that many of us don't know how to do. And I see a lot of time with students and people breathing just using the top part of their lungs. And you can tell they're doing that because it's quite common for people to breathe like this. You can see their shoulders going up and down, and you know what that means is that you're breathing very shallowly and you're only using about half of your lung capacity. The way to get the feeling for how you breathe deeply is very much like when you do a big yawn. If you do a big yawn first thing in the morning like that, what you do is you don't move your shoulders at all. You actually breathe very deeply right down to the bottom of your lungs, and it's almost like it feels as if your abdomen, your stomach area is filling up with air. So when you take a big deep breath like that, all this area around here expands, and that really shows that you're filling your lungs to their full capacity like this. Okay? The other thing that happens when you do yawn is you open up all of your throat like this. It's a thing that your body does in order to get the air into your lungs as quick as possible. It opens up your throat, okay? Like that. And that's another important thing, because when you're playing saxophone, not only do you need to breathe really deeply into your lungs, but you also need to keep your throat very open like this. If you've got a very closed off throat like that, it's going to make you sound very closed off, and it's going to make you squeak, and it's going to make everything just not work very well. A big open throat, breathing really deeply down into here, is going to help you to get the biggest sound that you can. So, breathing right down deep is important, but also the way you breathe out that air is important. So when you're actually playing the saxophone, you need to think about pushing your air from the bottom of your lungs. You've got your diaphragm muscle across the bottom of your lungs, and you need to think about pushing from here. And really the way we do it is all of our muscles around our middle, we tighten those up to push the air out. And by doing that way, we get a lot more air pressure when we're blowing, and that's what we call air support when we're playing saxophone, and that gives you sound that breadth. It makes you sound big and fat and really great. Okay, so breathing deep right down to the bottom of your lungs and pushing air out from here, pushing across, using your muscles here and pushing that air out is really, really important. So when you're playing through a piece of music and you've got to take a quick breath, always think about that. Don't think about like that. That's panting. Rather than think about pushing air, pulling your air right down into the bottom of your lungs down here, and you'll get more air in quickly and you'll have more air to use. Okay, so the second thing is where we actually breathe when we're playing. Now, you know, playing music, I always think, is very much like talking. And most of us are pretty good at talking, and most of us can have a conversation and breathe naturally and get our point across and make interesting sentences. And when you're playing music, you need to think about it the same way as talking. And what I mean by that is that we breathe naturally at the start of every idea that we're going to say, okay, or every idea in music that we're going to play. And we play, or when we're talking, we say our idea, we say the sentence, and then we take a breath at the end of the sentence. In music, we take a breath at the start, we play the musical sentence or the musical idea, and then we take a breath at the end of that idea. So if you're looking at a piece of music and you're not sure where to breathe, imagine as if you were talking through that piece of music. Where is the end of that sentence in the music? Where's the natural lull in the musical idea? That's the point where you take a breath. Just like when you're talking, we talk in sentences and we take a breath. Another sentence, another breath. In music, we play the musical sentence, we take a breath, we play the next musical sentence. Now sometimes you've only got a very short amount of time to grab a quick breath, snatch a quick breath in there. And that's why it's important to think about breathing deeply, open your throat, pull that air in, and then you're all set with enough air to play through your next musical sentence. I hope that makes sense to you. It's an interesting idea, but I think if you look at music and think about that concept, you should be able to see what I mean. But anyway, send me an email, let me know what you think, let me know how you're getting on with your breathing, and more importantly, send me an email, ask me a question if you're not sure about how to use breathing, or if you've got a specific problem with how breathing is working for you. Good luck with that, good luck with your saxophone practice. I'll see you on the next lesson.